Hey guys, it's Saga from TechWorks, and in this video, let us compare the cameras on the iPhone 12 with the ones on the iPhone 11. I included a few image and video samples from the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 11 in the full review of these phones. But you guys wanted to see a full-on TechWorks style detailed camera comparison video between the two. So here it is. Right before the launch of iPhone 12, Apple reduced the price of iPhone 11 in India. So now there is a good 25,000 plus rupees difference between the price of both these phones. In this video, let us try to find out that for the extra price, do the cameras on the iPhone 12 give us a noticeable improvement over the ones on the iPhone 11 or not. We have well over 90 image and video samples from both these phones to look at. But before we get to those, it is important to check out the cameras that we are working with. If you don't find this information useful, you can skip ahead to the image and video samples from the chapters in this video's timeline. But before that, if you are new to the channel or if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. Both these phones get dual 12MP cameras on their back. iPhone 11 gets f1.8 aperture, 26mm lens and optical image stabilization on the primary camera. And its secondary camera gets f2.4 aperture and a 13mm ultra-wide angle lens. Primary camera on the iPhone 12 also gets a 26mm lens and optical image stabilization, but now it also gets a wider f1.6 aperture which lets in more light on the sensor. Secondary camera gets f2.4 aperture and 13mm ultra-wide lens, so basically it is the same as the one on the iPhone 11. On both these phones, you can shoot 4K videos at 24, 30 and 60 fps and 1080p videos at 30, 60, 120 or 240 fps. You can also shoot extended dynamic range videos for up to 4K 60 fps. With the iPhone 12, you can shoot 10-bit Dolby Vision HDR videos at up to 30 fps. Both the phones have 12MP true depth cameras at the front with f2.2 aperture and a 23mm lens. And both of them can shoot videos at up to 4K 60 fps. Camera specs on both these phones sound pretty much the same, but the wider aperture on the primary camera and better image signal processing of the A14 chip on the iPhone 12 should help it perform slightly better. With all of that out of the way, let us move on to comparing the image and video samples from both these phones, starting with the ones which I took in daytime. Both the phones are capturing amazing looking images with the primary camera. If you look closer, images from the iPhone 12 are showing bit richer looking colors. There was a pinkish hue towards the horizon, which is clearly visible in the iPhone 12's image, but very hard to make out in the image from the iPhone 11. In this set of images, we can see the same thing. The sky looks better to my eyes in the image from the iPhone 12. The difference is subtle, and you will have to compare these images side by side to notice this. Otherwise, images from both the phones are looking really good. In these bright lighting conditions, both are capturing similar amount of details in these shots. Even as we zoom in, you won't see much difference in the detail levels. I looked at these images on a bigger display, zoomed way in, and I still couldn't find any difference between them. So it is very unlikely that you will find the images from the iPhone 11 to be lagging behind the iPhone 12 in any way in these kind of bright lighting conditions. Something that you can notice without zooming in is that the images from the iPhone 12 are showing a bit richer looking colors. Both these phones prioritize bringing up the shadows, so there isn't much contrast in these images. But if you look at the sky or the brown ceiling in this shot, or the green color on the wall in this one, the colors look better in the images from the iPhone 12. iPhone 12 captures a bit saturated colors compared to the iPhone 11. Its overall colors are also warmer compared to the 11, and I'm actually starting to like this. If you are going to upload these images to your social media accounts, you won't have to edit them further to make the colors pop out. They look good right out of the camera. This is what I feel about the colors that the iPhone 12 is capturing. But everyone perceives color in a different way, and what looks good to me might not look the same to you. So look at these images and decide for yourself that which of these colors look better or more natural to your eyes. When it comes to high dynamic range situations, both these phones do a very good job. But thanks to the Smart HDR3 on the iPhone 12, it brought up more details from the shadows in this shot, and in this one, while both seem to have done well with the bright sun being in the shot, iPhone 11 added a lot of noise while bringing up the shadows in this part, whereas the iPhone 12 has done a better job of keeping that noise level down. Now for some reason in this shot, iPhone 11 did not seem to have fired the HDR mode, but the iPhone 12 did, and look at how much better its image looks in comparison. In this image from the iPhone 11, we can bring up the shadows in editing, but it also brings in a lot of noise in the image, which doesn't really look good. Now in this image, the sun was right behind the leaves, and here, I think the iPhone 11 did a better job with the dynamic range. But while doing so, it couldn't keep the focus locked on the flower, which makes the iPhone 12's image look slightly better because the flower in its image is in focus. This is one of my favorite shots, and I showed it in iPhone 12's individual camera review as well. Just like the iPhone 12, iPhone 11 has also done an excellent job with the dynamic range in this one. While taking close-up shots, iPhone 12 is a hair faster at focusing than the iPhone 11, which if you guys don't know is already very fast. You can also get a bit closer to the subject on the iPhone 12 and still be able to set the focus compared to the iPhone 11. Other than that, and the colors appearing a bit warmer in the images from the iPhone 12, close-up shots from both these phones look very good. Subject closest to the camera or the one that you tap on is in perfect sharp focus, and the background gets a very nice optical blur. The aperture on the main camera of the iPhone 12 is a bit wider, so the background in its close-up shots is blurred out a bit more. All of the images that we saw till now were clicked with the main camera on both these phones. And now, here are a few that I took with the wide cameras on both. You can see how much more of the scene these wide lens lets you capture in each of these shots. Now the wide lens comes in handy when you want to show the scale of things, or when you want to get a large scene in your shot without having to move back. Most of the times, I use this lens to take images of buildings and other architecture. We see same things as we saw in the images from the main camera. I prefer colors from the iPhone 12, and dynamic range is ever so slightly better in its images. Now something that is new on the iPhone 12 is that now you have lens correction for the wide lens. You can see it at work in these images. In the iPhone 11's image, the building on the left is starting to curve a bit at the top, but in the iPhone 12's image, thanks to the lens correction, that building looks straight as it actually was. Again in this wide shot, look at the tiles towards the bottom. They seem curved in the images from the iPhone 11, but the lens correction on the iPhone 12 makes them appear as they should. Looking back at these images, you might have missed it, but both these phones do very well to match the white balance and color temperature between the wide and normal lens. Apple is one of the few companies which works on making the transition between these lenses look seamless. Now coming to the portrait mode, which as most of you guys already know is my favorite mode to shoot on any smartphone. Both of them are doing a very good job with these shots. Edge detection is a bit more accurate on the iPhone 12, but you have to look very close to see any difference between the two. iPhone 12 handles the hair in a better way, and there are also more details in the face of the main subject in its portraits. Now the iPhone 11 is by no means bad at taking these portrait shots. In fact, looking at these images, it is also doing a very impressive job. But to someone who is looking at every part of these images, portrait shots on the iPhone 12 will look slightly better. It is especially good when there is a bright background behind your subject, like in this shot. iPhone 11 blew up the sky in the background, whereas the iPhone 12 brought back the blue color in the sky. And again, you will have to zoom in to see this, but the iPhone 12 is capturing more details in my t-shirt in this particular shot compared to the iPhone 11. Both of them continue taking good portrait shots in indoor and artificial lighting conditions as well. The wide aperture on the iPhone 12's main camera helps it capture more light and reduce the noise in these situations. 12 again continues with its better edge detection, and as you can see, the hair and shoulder are in focus in the images from the iPhone 12, whereas the iPhone 11 blurs some of those parts out. Again, the difference is subtle and you will have to know what you're looking for, but the iPhone 12 is slightly better than the iPhone 11 at taking portrait shots in these lighting conditions. You can take portraits of objects with both these phones, and just like with the portraits of people, these portrait shots are also looking very good from both the phones. iPhone 12 is a bit faster at detecting the edges for these shots, but unless you are taking these images side by side on both these phones, you won't really notice the difference in speed. Edge detection and details are again slightly better in the portraits on the iPhone 12. Now the iPhone 12 doesn't have a LiDAR sensor like the iPhone 12 Pros, but the better image processing on the A14 chip helps it do everything related to the cameras better than the iPhone 11. Now we have seen close to 50 images by now, and we still haven't seen the iPhone 12 take noticeably better images than the iPhone 11. Keep in mind, the iPhone 11 costs much less than the iPhone 12, so it is great to see it match the cameras of the iPhone 12 in most of these situations. With that, let us now move on to the images which I took in indoors, artificial and lower lighting situations. Both these phones have deep fusion mode on the main camera, which helps them take detailed and sharper images with less noise in indoors and artificial lighting conditions. All these shots from both the phones are incredibly detailed in these indoor lighting situations. Only difference I am able to see is that the iPhone 12's images have slightly better looking colors. When the light goes down even more, the iPhone 11's camera starts showing some noise, but iPhone 12's images are still noise free and sharp. Since 12's main camera has a hair wide aperture, its shutter needs to remain open for less time to gather the same amount of light as the iPhone 11, and this reduces the chances of it ending up with blurry looking shots. I really like the deep fusion mode, because prior to it, and never remember getting such sharp images with very low noise in artificial lighting conditions from an iPhone. On the iPhone 12, this Deep Fusion mode is available on the wide lens as well. So you can take much sharper and detailed images with it in indoor lighting conditions compared to the iPhone 11. Just look at the difference in the indoor wide image from both of them. When the light gets even lower, Deep Fusion mode stops working and the night mode kicks in automatically on both these phones. Now when this shows up, you have the option of using it or turning it off. These low light images are without the night mode, and even then we can see the iPhone 12 capturing sharper elements and less noise in its shots. In this shot, iPhone 12 has captured a lot more light than iPhone 11. But with the night mode turned on, iPhone 11 comes back in the competition. Both these phones have captured a lot of noise, but the iPhone 12's images still show more details in the entire image. Now the flares that you see in some of the shots from both the phones are really annoying. They don't show up in all of your low light shots, but when they do, they can be very distracting. To reduce these glares to some extent, move your phone a bit or try taking the shot from a slightly different angle. Doing this seems to have helped in some of my shots. In these shots, iPhone 12's image is not only brighter, but you can see that it is also much sharper and has much less noise compared to the iPhone 11's image. Even with the night mode turned on, the 12 captures sharper images with less noise in them. But all of this is of course only visible if you compare these images side by side and zoom in on them. If not, images from both the phones look equally good on their own. Normally, with the night mode turned on, both these phones handle the exposure from the lights really well. But in this shot, both of them overexpose the lights besides the sidewalk. As I said before, none of these had the LiDAR sensor, but they still managed to take decent looking portrait shots in such low light. Like the Deep Fusion mode, wide lens on the iPhone 12 also gets the night mode, and this is what the wide lens from both the phones can capture at the same time. Now night mode on the iPhone 12's wide camera makes this scene look completely different. In certain situations, images from the night mode from the primary cameras of both these phones look just the same. Unless you zoom in on them, you won't be able to tell that the one from the iPhone 12 is ever so slightly sharper. But this is not the case with the images from the wide lens. When you look at these images side by side, you can straight away point out that the brighter and sharper looking one is from the iPhone 12. I'm not someone who takes a lot of shots in low light, and even less with the wide lens. But if you're someone who takes or wants to take a lot of low light wide shots, iPhone 12 should be your obvious choice. Here are a few more low light shots, and you can see the same thing repeating on all of them. So as you can see, in most of the low light images, wider aperture and better image processing on the iPhone 12 makes its images look better than the ones from the iPhone 11. That brings us to the front facing cameras. Both these phones have the exact same front facing camera, so any difference that we see in these images is purely because of the difference in processor and the image processing pipeline that they use. Now again, in bright light, it is hard to see any difference between these selfies. Colors and skin tones are also almost similar from both. In some of the shots, iPhone 12 selfies appear a bit more detailed. This happens when the iPhone 12 fires up Deep Fusion mode. Yes, the Deep Fusion and even the night mode is available on the selfie camera of the iPhone 12 as well. You can see the difference that the Deep Fusion mode makes as I zoom in on these indoor selfies. One from the iPhone 11 is looking so muddy, whereas the one from the iPhone 12 is much sharper. Here's another set of indoor selfies. In this set, you can again see a lot of noise in the one from the iPhone 11, but the one from the iPhone 12's selfie camera is much sharper. You can see an even bigger difference while taking images in even lower light, because this is when the night mode kicks in on the iPhone 12. Just like with the rear cameras, night mode images take longer to capture and you have to hold the phone very steady the whole time. But looking at these results in lower light, I think the waiting time is well worth it. Now you can take good looking selfies with the iPhone 12 in places where the iPhone 11 can barely see anything. Both can take portrait selfies, and here you can again see the iPhone 12 doing a better job both with edge detection and detail levels in your face. The iPhone 12 does well to keep most of your hair and shoulders in focus, while the iPhone 11 misses out on some parts of it. Now look at my hair in this shot. iPhone 12 has done well to keep them in focus, but the iPhone 11 failed to do so. The 12 is also better at keeping multiple faces in focus. Well, to keep both of our faces in focus on the iPhone 11, I had to take this image 4 times. So although we don't get a new selfie camera on the iPhone 12, the ISP backed by the A14 processor gives us a much needed bump in the selfie camera's performance. Here's a video from the front facing camera of the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 11. You can see how both these phones are handling the overall colors of the scene, exposure, and stabilization when I'm walking around with them. Both these phones can take 4K 60fps videos with all three cameras. iPhones have always been the best when it comes to shooting videos. With great stabilization, iPhone 12 can now shoot 10-bit Dolby Vision HDR videos at up to 30fps. Now if you don't care about the HDR video capabilities, you can go ahead with the iPhone 11 and get almost same great video from it as the iPhone 12. Both can again take amazing 1080p slow motion videos. Now with a very powerful processor on the iPhone 12, I was expecting it to come with 4K 120 or 1080p 480fps slow motion video capabilities. But sadly, we did not get any of it. With that, we have seen over 90 image and video samples from both these phones. In bright daylight, we can barely see any difference between the images of these two. Some differences could be seen when the situation demands higher dynamic range, and there are a few subtle differences while shooting portrait mode images. We see a bigger difference in indoor and lower lighting conditions when the deep fusion and night mode come into play on all three cameras of the iPhone 12. Now you have to look at these images and decide for yourself that if the difference between these images is worth the extra money for you or not. This time, there is just as big of a difference between the rear cameras of these phones as there was between the iPhone XS and the iPhone 11, especially in lower light. Now I can easily tell you guys to go and get the iPhone 12 because it gets a better camera setup. But I feel the choice is not this easy for everyone. Before making your purchase decision, you guys should do this. Think about how much do you use the cameras on your phone. And when you do you take most of your images in daytime? If yes, then you can go with the iPhone 11 and save yourself 25,000 rupees. But if you take most of your images in lower light, and if you want to use the wide lens indoors or when the light goes down, or if you take a lot of selfies, in that case, you should consider getting the iPhone 12. So these have been my thoughts about the cameras on the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 11. What do you guys think about them? Let me know in the comments. And if you guys plan on getting any of these iPhones, I will really appreciate if you get them from the affiliate links in the description section. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.